Are you holding yourself back? You probably do, because there are always so many excuses to just not create content. But today I got help in the house. I have Marielou Mandel here, and let me just start Instagram here. So
Always.
it's not figured out. So I should do the intro first and then start that. But it's the first time you're doing Instagram at the same time. So we have Marielou Mandel here, and she's here to tell us about creating. Not only has she over 15 years experience in the industry, but she also has a great mindset. And so with no further ado, welcome, Marielou!
Oh, that's fun. I like that confetti.
Yeah, we're going fancy. We're going vertical, and we're going fancy, and we're going places.
So is this the first of your regular shows you're doing to both Instagram and YouTube vertical?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, I watched your tutorial because it's not so straightforward. It's a bit strange with Instagram, but it is working. Yeah. So I'm so excited to have you here. And yeah, 15 years you're already doing on-camera hosting, producing, all the things. How did you land in the industry?
I have been making videos for as long as I had access to a camera. So and this is kind of a theory that I have, is that when people are lost and they like don't know what they want to do, I'm like, what were you doing in middle school that you loved? Because this is what I was doing in middle school that I loved. I was making videos. I was doing the morning announcements. Eventually, when I got a camera, and I have it up there, my first camera that was
Wow,
my phone,
still
I
here.
still have that. And just recording things wherever. And this was before we could do stuff on the phone. It was before we had social media. Like, we barely had cell phones. I think I got like a Nokia cell phone. Maybe it was my last year in high school. Like, we just got internet, like instant messenger and stuff was all like very, very new. So I've been making videos before it was like the internet making videos. And then once the internet was a thing, I just like, I was like, this is amazing, because we can just make videos. We can just put them out there. We can just show it. And this is not even like to make it a business. It is just like, you can make things and basically like put it on the fridge, like you make a little drawing, you stick it on the fridge, people see it or they don't if they come around. That's kind of how I saw the internet. But outside of that, like, I moved to Los Angeles because I'm an actress, I'm a host. I was looking for on-camera work. I came here for on-camera work. But then once I was getting things doing, getting into that a lot, I found a lot of barriers where they were like, well, you need to have footage in order to get a job, to like, book the audition. You need to have footage, you need to have experience, but like, you can't get experience if you don't get the job. So I just learned how to make videos myself. And that's kind of turned into a lot of different opportunities. And I'm very much I just follow the next right step. There's like overall goals, but the thing is, like, our lives we get one chance at this, and I want to just try as much as I can. I want to explore what I can. So I'm like, sure, this seems interesting until it's not, and then I will try something else. But making videos has always been at the core of all of that.
Great. Yeah, it's fantastic. And so, yeah, you did all the things, and now you are creating content full time.
Yes, I am.
Wow.
I'm very fortunate and glad, but it was not without a lot of work, and it is not. I will say to people, like, it's not for the faint of heart. I keep my
Okay.
expenses low. I don't have kids. I have my cats. I keep things very focused. Like, I'm not going out and having like whirlwind trips. I still have my same car that I had when I moved to Los Angeles 17 years ago. But like, I love my life and I love it every day, and I will do everything I can to keep pursuing this path because it feels right.
Oh, yeah, the passion. I can feel the passion, absolutely. Yeah. But was it also scary to say, okay, I'm just doing this now? And
Yeah, I will say it was scary, but the true transition happened when everything was scary. It was like during the
Okay.
pandemic,
Okay. Yeah.
and like I got laid off from my job. Will also like wasn't booking any work because he was working in writers' rooms for television, so nothing was filming. There was nothing to do. Like the work I previous was like would do had shut down. The office job that I had shut down. It was just like, well, now what? But for years prior, I would make tutorials once in a while. Like I was like, I wish I could do this YouTube channel. I wish I could, but there's not enough time. So once in a while, it'd be like once every 6 months, I would get like a video up. And because I was like doing all this other work, I was like traveling. I was an event producer. I was like running a department at a makeup school for like media, just like working, doing the hustle, right? And those tutorials at the beginning of the pandemic took off because now everybody's at home and they're looking
Yeah.
up, how do I do this on the internet? So the reason the intersection came for me to become full time was just a complete like stack of circumstances and the fact that I had been planting seeds for years. So it wasn't really a like, I'm deciding to do this now. It was a decision of like, oh, I see the things I have been doing are taking off. So how can I double down on that? How can I really lean into this? And then like finding Ecamm, right? I feel like Ecamm like changes so many of our lives. Like it really made a difference because now I'm like at home and I'm like, okay, well, I have all the time. What can I do? What should I focus on? What should I make happen? And then it eventually turned into me doing this full time. And some years like are really, really excellent. And then other years, like last year was kind of slow, but it's because I wasn't paying attention to the baby. Like I think of like my business is like my
Wow.
baby.
Okay.
Look
Great.
at it. It's like a plant. And it might
Yeah.
not die, but if you like, you're distracted, you have other things you have to take care of. Like it was a lot of family stuff last year that I just couldn't like sit and give it its full focus. It starts to wilt a little bit,
Yeah.
but but you can revive it, and that's what like this year has been like, okay, well now all of that stuff is taken care of. I can look at my little baby, I can look at my garden, I can look at my plant, and I can take care of it, and now she's flourishing once again.
So fantastic. Yeah. And you also started to uh, go live twice a week for 2 hours at a
Yeah.
time. So crazy to me how you can talk for 2 hours.
And you managed to like I'm always impressed with you because you do stick around. Like you, I think more than anyone has actually seen the whole progress of this project and this challenge that I made for myself, which came about because, we live stream, and I think a lot of like the Ecamm fam and the way that we live stream is a live show. That there's a structure, there's an intro, there's a guest always, there's a thing we're talking about specifically. And I've done that, and I've done that a lot uh in like my previous years in March Madness challenges, which is like a personal challenge that I do for myself every March, is like something that's out of my comfort zone in content creation and video making. Like I try to really push that. So the first year of that was doing one live show once a day for the whole month of March. And that really changed my channel because I really did structure that out as just like live tutorials. If the video, they were all live, but if it was 5 minutes for me to explain the thing, great, 5 minutes and I'm done. If it was 20 minutes, do that and it's done. If it was 45 minutes, if people were in the chat and they were asking questions, great, it could be 45 minutes, but there wasn't the pressure on what it needed to be or how long it needed to be. It just was the topic I had in mind had to get covered. I had to do it live and then get out of there. Now that just built an entire library on my YouTube channel. And if anybody's really looking to like infuse your channel with a lot of content, and if you approach it with the searchable content, like videos that answer one question are the ones that do the best for me as far as like search. just do that. Challenge yourself once a day. You make a live video, explain one thing. Don't do it for the chat. Like sometimes I'm like, I see there's people in the chat, but I wasn't even talking to them because I'm like, I'm just here. This is how you do it. Okay, bye. It was that quick and that easy. So that really infused my channel. Now, the 2-hour live stream, I consider as a different style. So I think of live shows and live streams. And I was thinking about how, like, the gaming streamers, they just sit there for like 8 hours and do whatever. They're playing their game. They have like a topic. There's like a core concept of what's happening, but it's not like a workshop. It's not today we're learning this. They're like, I don't know, we're going to play this game today. We're going to hang out. We're going to chit chat. We're going to see where it goes. So I just do the live stream for 2 hours, and that has really done a lot. And like I started doing that before the vertical live streams to shorts happened. So because I was already in the groove, switching to that was super easy. And then that's really like, if you've been in the live chat, like during these live streams, like we get new friends come in all the time. And like sometimes it's random, sometimes it's useful, sometimes they're part of the crew and sometimes they're not, but we see new people and it's a good time.
Absolutely. And so, I wanted this one. Yeah. So I have a question here from 24 Hours Boss. To clarify, you don't acknowledge those in the chat for your short live. That is dependent on if you're doing a tutorial or if you just do the 2 hours hanging out, of course.
Yeah. So if it's 2 hours hanging out, right, we are talking like 2 hours hanging out. Those live chats are basically like I'm sitting in a booth. You come over, people come by, like we're just like at a party. We chat, you come in, you hang out for a little bit. Maybe you're going to go watch somebody else's stream, or maybe we're going to sit and talk for the whole 2 hours. For the tutorial lives, the short lives, even a live show, what I would do, like if I was like nervous, because sometimes there would be no chat. Sometimes there would be no chat. And that was fine. So I just kind of got used to, let me go live, say my thing, and I'm out. It's basically like you're recording it at home. You just don't have to edit and it's already uploaded. Was kind of like my process, right? Was like, okay, how can I do all of it at once and not have to worry about the post-production? So if chat did come, if it was relevant, I tried to build in a spot in the middle where I'd like, here's the topic that we're talking about. Here's a little bit about it. Let's look at the chat. Here's the chat. Here's a couple of relevant comments. And then at the end, maybe would go through everything. And then you could trim that off if you needed to take it out, because you could use the trim in YouTube in order to cut that out.
Absolutely.
So there was like ways to do it. So it was not necessarily like I'm ignoring the chat.
Yeah.
I will say sometimes I forgot to look at the chat because
okay.
there before. It was like I wasn't used to people coming in because it was just me. But then people started to show up, and then I was like, oh, sorry.
I'm not alone. Okay.
Welcome to the live.
Yeah, there's also a formula where you can talk about the topic first, and then in the second part you answer questions. I think it's important to not get constantly distracted with the chat, so that you stop speaking in the middle of your sentence, and then it is probably hard to watch. So
yes.
Yeah.
Another strategy that I had for a live show, there was one that I did for a while. I did like one season of it. I called it Club Content Creator, and I structured it with countdown timer, intro. Hello, Marielou here. This week on Club Content Creator, we're talking about topic A, B, and C. But first, we're going to start with some social media news. So the first segment is social media news. And then it would be like, now let's check in with the chat. See what the chat's saying. Excellent. Now we're going to go on to topic number 1, whatever that topic 1 was, like a tutorial or an update or like a program or something like that. Next thing would be like, let's talk about some of the tools that I use or sponsors, right? It was like, I didn't have any sponsors for it, but it was a place where if somebody wanted to sponsor it, they could come in, right? So building those things in. And then topic 2, and then it'd be like, look at the chat again, topic 3, and then the end would be Q&A. But the way that I would do Q&A is I would have questions already written down, whether somebody asked or didn't. So the Q&A always had a question, but I would always try to pull something from the comments But if nobody in the comments asked anything, because I always anticipate nobody will be there. And that's the same with these 2-hour live streams. If nobody's there, my job is to sit there for 2 hours and talk. And
Okay.
I'll just do what I have to do at my desk. Like, I will find things to do. And that's part of my practice of doing that kind of thing. But with the live show, each of those segments, I was able to cut down into individual videos. So that was kind of my process to try to shoot like 4 pieces of content at once. Because then I have the live show, and then I would edit topic A, B, and C into their own videos. So then that week, the channel got 4 uploads.
Yeah. But what I really love is what you're saying about practicing and challenging yourself. Especially the 30-day challenge is a really powerful thing, because then it really happens so consistently, and you can build up your skills really fast. And but also, yeah, the 2-hour live stream, it's of course something that can bring value, but it's also something you decided, I'll do it if someone shows up or not. And
Yes.
yeah, that's really powerful.
And so the part of that came from over like November and December. I got hired as a host for a TikTok shop show. That was like a brand needed a host for their TikTok shop. And that was a 2.5-hour live stream with like nobody. There would be nobody, because this is not a well-known brand. They did not have a following. But like, I mean, that was my job. I was hired to sit there. So I would just find things to do. It's like QVC style, but like at least I had a moderator for that. Like it was me and a moderator. So at least like in the room, because we were shooting at a studio. And so like, thankfully, at least there was someone to talk to in real life. But we would talk about movies, but it was like a tech brand, like a reseller. And so they had some products, and like we would show the products and kind of talk about it. And then I would just like make jokes or tell stories, but it was like, I have to figure out how to not only entertain myself for 2.5 hours and make sure like my energy doesn't dive, but also try to get some information across if somebody comes in.
Yeah.
So that was like interesting to me, because once that project ended, I was like, no, but that was really good practice for me, because the first like couple weeks of that, like I came out and like I would be driving home, and I would get home, and Will's like, how was it? And I'm like, I just was like, I'm not talking for the next 3 hours, because I would be so tired, right? Like
it's draining, of course, then.
But I built up that muscle, and I didn't want to lose that muscle. So while I was like, I don't need to do 2.5 hours, I can do 2 hours, and I can do that regularly. And I think that it was something that I was starting to see in the way that I was consuming content, that I really just like hanging out with somebody sometimes. I just like want to have it on in the background, and I don't care what we're talking about. I just want to see my friend, my friend, my internet friend, right? Like the content creator. I just like want to put something on that I don't have to think about, and I can vacuum, or I can just like do whatever and listen to it. And maybe there's something interesting, then I'll come and say something. And it was more like looking at how I'm consuming content, looking at what platforms were pushing, because I know like specifically TikTok was pushing the live streams. So I knew that Instagram and I knew that YouTube were going to be not far behind, because like TikTok and YouTube have always had their live streams, but Instagram over the holiday season, right, made it so everybody could do the encoder live streams. So that was new. I just like, I had a sense. I was like, this is coming. Something is coming. And then the same with YouTube. I was like, something is coming. They're going to be pushing live streams. And now the vertical live streams, the encoder live streams, now we can have everything. You just got to be ready to jump on things, but it's like just me being in creator culture, and part of like, my niche, right? What I talk about mostly is making videos on the internet. So I'm pretty steeped in like kind of seeing how things change, and have being in like the internet since the internet started, like since social media was a thing. Like I think like when Instagram came out, somebody told me what this was, and I was like, oh, what is that? And I just was like, obsessed. And this was when we could just do pictures, like one picture in the app. You could use the little filters in there, but I was like, this is my art. My friends would like laugh at me because I was like, no, I need to do this for my Instagram. And they're like, what is this? I was like,
Yeah.
no, you don't
You're
understand.
just ahead of the crowd. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we also have a lot of lovely people here in the chat, but hi Chad. It went so fast I didn't have time to say hello to everybody. But if you have a question, just put it in here. I'm watching out for it. Yeah, but by watching your streams, the ones that are not so structured but 2 hours long, and I got really inspired because I'm doing this now for about 2.5 years, and I'm getting better with it, but I used to be so controlled and everything had to be good and organized, and even just to take a pause to think about something more. No, it has to go tak, 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 and
but Market, look,
yeah.
how much experience do you have? If you needed to, could you make a perfect video?
No one can make a perfect video, but
perfect, right? But like that would be of your produced standard. So not necessarily perfect, but if there was like, I need you to make a video about this camera, right?
Yeah.
Produce me a video that's the production quality that is that you would like to put out there. You know how to do it. And that's how I feel. Like I can make the video. I can make the high production video, but does it have to be that every time?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when you grow up, you want to be like me, just do it right now.
Yeah. Don't wait for it. The time is now. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's what I learned with watching how you are doing it. Sometimes you just come in and you say, oh, I don't know how to do this on the Rodecaster, and then people in the chat are helping you, and it is fun to watch. So I think we're really often holding ourselves back because we think, no, it has to be perfect and everything has to be but no, just go and do it, and by doing it you're getting better.
Not ready, go.
Yeah, not ready, go.
That's right. No, because that's such a great slogan. Like, not ready, fine. That's where like having the scheduled time, right? It's scheduled, and I put it on all of the banners, right? So it's like, I know people know that's when I have to show up to work. Because that's another thing. Once you become like a full-time content creator, you're making your own schedule, right?
Yeah, that's hard.
And you have to be accountable to something, because I used to, where I would find myself in traps, like, because, just from so many years of like, let me try it this way. Let me try it this way. I tried to do like a season where it'd be like, okay, March, I make a lot of content, and then I take April off. And then I would try to do it again in June, and then take the July off, or, whatever, every other month. Yeah. And it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay, fine. I'll make one video a week for 8 weeks, take a break. And it wasn't working. So that was, I just am always trying to switch things around. So the 2 times a week, 2 hours, Tuesdays and Thursdays, it just all felt fun to say. Like it felt
okay.
Right? Like Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:30 for 2 hours, right? Like it's, for me, I'm like, that's very easy for me to explain. So when people are like, oh, when can I see you? Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:30 for 2 hours. You can come and hang out with me. We will talk about whatever it is you need to talk about. We can cover things, or we can talk about nothing, and you'll just see the cats. But that was my way of being like, I have to show up to work here. So this is, imagine like it's a farmer's market. If you have you're like selling candles, right? And you need to show up somewhere to let people see you. So this is like my farmer's market, right? So I go to the market, I set up my tent, I have my little table with all of my wares. People want to ask about those, great. They just want to chit chat, great. But it's my way to get to know the community, get to know what people are asking about, and also just be me. Because I also think all of us as creators could just be a little more of ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But what would you say to someone who says, "Oh no, I am not ready. I'm afraid to try it."
Then we get into this sometimes in the live streams. Like, I love it when somebody comes in and they're like, I want to make something, but I can't, or I won't, or I don't. And I'm like, great, let's talk about it. Like, it's like basically becomes creator therapy. So I'm like, where
Great.
is resistance? That's been my mission for myself for years. Because I knew my end goal, I wanted to be able to make content full time. I want to make videos full time. I want to be able to help people. So everything was like, okay, between me here and the final product is just work. But somewhere there's not like a good flow. So at first it was, okay, I was like, I had roommates. I was like living in my friend's guest room for a little bit. Like, I didn't have anywhere to film anything. And so it was just really hard to set things up and take. So I knew I had to work in order to get an apartment where I could have a studio. So I lived in my apartment by myself. My living room, I didn't get a TV. I got a couch just so it was like a place to sit. But my living room was my studio. If you go back to videos like 2017-ish, that's like in that apartment. So like that apartment, like I got it to be a filming studio and a place for me to sleep and a place for me to put my luggage down whenever I was like home from work. So that was a resistance. So then I got there and it was like I would set up the set and then take it down, and then I would be home for like 2 days, and I was like, I want to film something, but it's going to take me a whole day to put all this stuff up, but I need to do laundry and I need to go get groceries and I need to see people, I need to do all this stuff, but if it was just set up, I would do it. So that was the next set of resistance, was like, fine, my set was just always up. And that's why this right now is always up. That was like a requirement for me. Like when Will and I moved in together, I was like, I need to have a place where my studio is up all the time. So
Yeah.
that was the next set of resistance. Then the next one, I'd film something, I'd film 10 things. Then I wouldn't edit it. It would just be stuck on the hard drive. And I'm like, I'll edit it later. I'll edit to later. But I think it's like, for me, it's 48 hours. If I haven't edited it in 48 hours, I better just film it again, because I won't remember. It's going to take too long. I have to watch it again anyway. So I better just start over. So that's where live to tape happened. So this is my goal, is finding the resistance. So with somebody who's coming up and they're like, I'm not ready. I'm like, well, where's the resistance? What's the thing that you don't feel ready for? And let's address that. Because if there's nothing to address in the processes, in the workflow, then you're just doing excuses. Now let's talk. What's happening here?
Yeah. Yeah, because excuses are cheap to come by, and then we don't have to face our fears. So
yeah, I see. Is it Roy? More vertical videos. So I'd love to hear what your audience here, what folks here think about vertical videos, because I know it's mixed. I know that it's mixed, but I know how I feel about it. And I want to know what you feel about it, Marcus, and I want to know what your folks here feel about it.
Yeah, let's talk about that. And maybe we can even ask here on, I don't know. I don't see the chat in YouTube here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Tell us how you feel about vertical videos. And for me, it's something I really, really wanted just to try. I did one pretty soon when it was in the shorts feed, where I just was out in the carnival here and just filmed. That was easy to do. And then for this interview style, I didn't do it at first because I wanted to have some layouts here, all the fancy stuff here.
Yeah.
Where we can go around. But I to watch it, I really like it if I'm watching it on the phone. Mm-hmm. But if I don't watch it on the phone, then it feels kind of meh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
because where would you, like, if it's on your computer, You don't just like I feel like anytime I'm watching any content, it's just a window in the corner. Like I think
Okay.
I'm the kind of consumer that I'm like I'm doing other things also. So if there's a like anything, it's just like really just in the corner playing. So whatever size it is doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But I have been embracing vertical video since before people didn't want like when there was the whole campaign of people like turn your phone on its side, like, you know, just years ago whenever it first came to be like people were doing vertical video. I'm like, no, this is great because you have to think about how are the people consuming it.
Yeah, and it works especially well on the phone. So,
Mhm.
Philip says, I'm fine with vertical. Marcus, you seem to format it well. Yeah, and that's the other thing. I didn't only want the layout just that it looks good, because I think here the standard thing looks good as well. But
Yeah.
I especially wanted it so that I don't go down into the comments that are overlaid and then it looks crappy. So
Mhm.
okay, Katie says the vertical is a bit strange on YouTube, as on my iPad I can see you both teeny weeny. Yeah. And YouTube has some homework to do, because if you're watching on the iPhone and if you go in via the notifications, then it will not show you the proper UI with the comments over it. For me, what worked is when I then go to the channel of that person and click the video there, and then it will switch. On the iPad, not, but on the iPhone, it will switch to the proper format.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
interesting because it's so new, but it's also not designed for the kind of live streams that we tend to do with our, you know, with the Ecamm fam, where we want our overlays, we want our
Yeah.
comments, we want things to look flashy, and it is still something to wrap our heads around.
Yeah.
That's why like my stuff looks crazy. Like people will come on there, I'm like, let's figure that. I don't know, let's move this. Like I feel like my stuff is always moving. Whenever like something pops up, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna move it over here. You guys just see all of it.
Yeah, you know, I have here the green line. Yeah, exactly here where you see the green line is where YouTube will stop putting more comments, and so all those layouts are really optimized. Not this one,
Mhm.
but this one,
You
and
did put some good work into these.
yeah, I took the ones from Live Streaming Pros from the shop, and then I just customized it a bit
That's good.
to my needs. Yeah, so let's go back to the comments. So Roy is talking about excuses that are lifeblood of why Roy doesn't do enough video. Yeah, you're doing plenty videos. So
Yeah. Roy, you're doing really great. And I watched your talk in the car from it was like this morning or yesterday morning. We were talking about life is bitter enough. So you add a little sweetness in your coffee. But like I feel you with where you're at right now, because I have been in those shadowy chapters of like what like that's kind of just what I feel. You're just like I want to do more, I don't want to do more. What am I supposed to be doing? Is this working? Is it not? Is this correct? Is it not correct? So I feel you, and I tell you, you will get to the other side of it. And if anybody else is feeling that as well, like it happens, and it happens to the best of us, and it happens to all of us. Like I had one of those last year where I just got off of social media for a whole month, and it was excellent. Like I deleted all the apps, and I was like, great, I don't have to see nobody. I don't have to think about this. Like it was just to not think about it. And then I came back strong, even though like I didn't really write then. But by the time January came around, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. Because my other option was like, go get a other regular job. And I did for a little bit, and I was like, oh, I don't like this.
oh no, okay. Yeah, great. So let's go to more vertical comments. Lala tried it last night. It's hard because the scene was so small for crafty live stream. Yeah, I think if you want to show things that you are crafting, it's probably hard to put it vertical.
Yeah, I
But
like
it's
what you do
got a
when
lot of views.
you have the two landscape ones. I feel like that does well when we're doing the overhead stuff is like
This
something
one.
like this,
Yeah.
right? Like you can see the creator talking, and then you could see, whatever your crafty stuff that you're showing, and there's still space for the comments.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you just have to figure things out. But I think if you really want to show detailed things, then it's maybe hard. And Stan says, as a consumer, doesn't have strong feeling about it. As a creator, I'm struggling with how to work it with. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. So if you're drawing art, and I really would try then to figure out not to go below the green line I showed before. So maybe you have to put yourself in a little circle up there, and then take a lot of place for the drawing. Yeah. Anna says, I think we sometimes think about what we want as what the people want. Yeah. Well, I think there needs to be also a balance. So you should want to make it, but it also should be a demand for it, I think.
Yeah. I'll say to this point, I was at a crossroads where what the people wanted from me was social media strategy. How do I grow my audience? How do I blow up on Instagram? How do I become an influencer? How do I, like, these things that I'm like, you can look at my followings. I'm like, I don't actually know. I just make a lot of things. But I was trying to fit that role because I was like, well, this is what people want. So I'm trying to like follow this. And it got to the point where I'm like, I don't want to do any of it because of this. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, if I wanted to do something I don't want to do, I would go work another job and have somebody else pay for my health insurance. But if I'm doing this for myself, there's a way. It was just a matter of figuring out, okay, in this realm, what do I like? So now I've just cut out talking about social media strategy. Because it used to be like people would be like, oh, let's have Marielou come speak about how to grow on Instagram. And I'm like, I hate to talk about that because I don't think that there's a way. I don't think that there is the way to do it for creatives. I think it is just experimentation. For businesses, that's a different game. But it's like, I don't want to do that, right? I didn't want to coach people. I had a lot of people try to hire me as their social media manager, and I hate it. Hate it.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so like upset, to push publish for somebody else makes me so mad, like viscerally angry. Cause I'm like, I could be doing this same thing for myself. So that in your, what the people want versus what you want, I'd say still lean harder into the what you want, because if you only do with what the people want, you're not going to want to do anything.
Yeah, but
what's the point?
But maybe just find an intersection of that, because you specifically recognized, okay, I don't want to talk about social media, but I love to talk about making videos. And then when you're in that, and then you say, okay, now we're going to talk about that, and then you can refine it. But how do I talk about that so that people get the value and I got the right people to hear it? And so you can,
And that kind of came around from people asking me about social media stuff. And I would always think, I'm like, you're asking the wrong question first, because they're asking about social media, but they don't even know how to make a video. So I'm like, when these people come in who are asking about social media strategy, I'm like, well, let's back up. Let's start here. And it's the same way with tech people, right? Like people are like, what camera is going to be the one? What microphone is going to be the one? I was like, but first, do you know how to put two clips together?
Yeah.
Like, do you know how to do that? Because if you don't know how to do that, I don't know if you really need to be looking at cameras yet.
Absolutely.
That's my game.
Yeah. Start with the phone and go and do things, and then the rest comes later. So, yeah. Lala has a good point. Marielou also has classes on video and on editing, and you can find those links in the description for that video.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, those are
check it out.
Skillshare.
Okay, yeah, great. And yeah, then you
But also
just
just come
get,
to the live stream and tell me what you need to know, and we'll talk about it.
yeah, even better. Then we get to hang out with all of you again. Yeah. And 24-hour boss wants to know when you got off. Yeah, you put that pause of a month in. Did you let your followers know before you disappeared for a month?
I think I maybe did a post, but like of any of the response was really supportive, because I think all of us are like, can I just get off of social media? Like, I feel like this kind of a common thing is that we're all like, am I allowed to do that too? Because that's why I started it. Because there was one friend of mine that, like, she's not on social media at all, and I was like, can I not be on social media? And she's like, I
Yeah.
guess. And I was like, well, it's like
Yeah,
my job.
do
I
it.
can't be off of it forever. But I was able to take a little break. So yeah, I did let them know, but it wasn't like a huge like countdown or campaign. I think it was just like one day I was like posted a picture of probably of Gizmo, and I'm like, I'll be back in a month.
Yeah,
See ya.
perfect. That works.
Go do something. Go do anything.
Yeah. So now maybe let's do a bit of, how did you call it? Therapy session, creator therapy.
Yeah. Creator therapy. Let's go.
Yeah. So if anyone here watching is thinking, yeah, I would like to make content, and I'm watching all the tutorials and I'm thinking about all the things, but I don't know. I just can't do it. So what is the best way to start, and the mindset you need to have?
Yeah. So if anybody in here is actually thinking about this, like, tell us in the comments, because then we will talk to you specifically and find out where you're stuck. Because it could be a couple of different things. It could be you need a break. It could be you need to simplify it, because maybe it's too complicated. That's kind of, I got to a point at one point where it's like, it was just too complicated, so I wasn't doing it. So I had to go back to basics. And now it's complicated again, but at least I know what I'm doing. And I'm also willing to look like a mess. And I think a lot of people aren't willing to look like a mess.
No,
but that's kind of
I am. I should have shaved, but yeah, I'm okay. We can be messy.
We're fine. We're gonna be fine. Like, that's Marcus. Marcus is here. He's hanging out. And it's just the internet. It's not that serious. You know, if it's for a business, that's a different game. But us as creators, I have never like scoffed at a video because I'm like, ugh, they didn't put on a blazer. Like, I don't even care if they didn't brush their hair. Like, like if you were, and I think this is really a lot because of TikTok culture, because TikTok is really just like whatever, anything happens. I kind of like someone better if I feel like they're a real person. I feel like I connect with them better. And then a lot of my behaviors are based off of how do I behave on the internet, and kind of think of like, okay, well, I want to attract other people who are like that, who are like me. So let me cater to that. Like, because that was fine with me, so it's probably fine with somebody else. Like, we still have the nice cameras, I still have the lights, but that's because I like to do that.
Yeah.
But it's not necessary. That's why sometimes we don't.
Yeah, just take the phone and do something with that. Yeah, but I think that
they're all scared about content creator therapy.
Everyone's scared. So we can make therapy for me then, if the chat is still thinking about it. Because, for me the thing is, I really got this down with the live, because the live just happens once a week at a set time, and then yes, not ready, go. I just do it because I know then it's the time, but I really would like to make some pre-recorded videos, and one idea I had and started is over a half year old now, because then I'm the perfectionist and I'm stopping myself, and it just doesn't get done. So
so what is this idea? Let's go.
Okay. The topic is about those trends on TikTok Live and how strange they are, and I have a lot of footage, and I have different categories, and I have I already produced the intro of it, but then I just stopped.
So what's the outline of it? Is there an outline?
Yeah, it's not really written down. Maybe I have it still somewhere. Yeah, could.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's something like, yeah, it's really strange, and I watched a lot of it to find out for you why it's strange, and then there are some uh, funny things just from the footage from people
Uh-huh.
doing
So
interesting
what are you
things.
wanting to do with this? Is it a reaction video or is it just like an explanation of how
Yeah,
strange
it
things are
goes
on
then in the
TikTok?
explanation why, especially why is it strange, because um, you need to catch the attention immediately, and you need to do something that is easy reproducible and easy to do for multiple hours. Yeah, and just it is entertaining but also educational. Why is it the way it is?
Okay, so then what are your 3 reasons why uh like 3 top of the line reasons of why it is weird? Like why do you feel it's weird? 3 reasons.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, it needs to catch attention immediately. So every frame is basically what the thumbnail would be on YouTube, and then needs to be something unexpected probably. Okay, third one. Yeah, people are strange sometimes.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
'cause so it's like it needs to catch attention quickly.
yeah,
Um, TikTok kind of harbors like any kind of creator. So, which I think is the same on all the platforms. I just think we see it more on TikTok, the way that the feed is. Because on YouTube, it's like we find something that we searched. On
yeah,
TikTok, it's just like giving us things. We're just like,
yeah,
oh my God, stuff. Okay. And the so the way that I think you're stuck, I think where you're stuck is that you just don't have an outline.
yeah,
Like you know how to make the video. You've got kind of a concept, you've got the intro,
yeah,
and you've got footage. But
yes,
what is the video?
yeah. So
Now,
I
could you
need
do
to.
that even if it was in live to tape? Like could you plug in all of the clips that you want to bring in and do it as a live stream?
Yeah, I probably not the way I want to,
Okay,
but
fine.
yeah,
Like sometimes videos
okay.
aren't right live. Like that's fine.
But yeah,
Um,
I mean, I could of course make it into a reaction video and then bring the point. Yeah, I maybe could, but I'm not sure if I should. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
But
So I
but what
think
I
this
what I am sure is I really should do something with it, because I invested a lot of time to prepare it, and now it's just sitting on the disk and
right.
does nothing.
So
Yeah,
when it just sits in the hard I have so many of those just videos just sitting on hard drives, which is
yeah,
where live changed everything because I was like, well, at least it's sitting on the internet.
yeah,
If it's where somebody could find it, because I'll never see it again on the hard drive. So having the plan for that, your outline, but also what's the simplest way you could do that video where it's not stuck in your head? Because I think we get creatively constipated where like you have these ideas and you don't get them out. They will just stand in the way of other ideas. They'll just be like, no,
oh,
me
that's
too.
fascinating.
They'll just sit there and be mad and continue to fester like a child, right? I love that. That's so cute. And if you don't get it out, so what is the simplest way you could do that? Could that just be a short? Could that just be like, what is the simplest way you could just do that idea? Even if you did it again in a longer form, once it sat with you the right amount of time, then is there a way you could just do it the simplest way possible?
Yeah,
Just to get the idea out there. Even like right
yeah,
now, maybe this is serving its purpose because it's getting talked about.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I'll have to think about that. But okay, so can I just make it as a short? Could I do it live? And I need an outline. Yeah, I really do.
Mhm.
That's yeah.
Well,
And
the
the
top
other
quick fixes like that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, the other thing is I really have a resistance to record myself. where I don't have any resistance to go live, even if not shaved. And so, but I think the solution there as well is just do a lot of it, like you said when you did 30 days in a row. And I did a little bit where I did 1, 2, 3 vlog style things, and I think I just need to lean in more into that, because the resistance is recording myself and then just doing it and doing it again will help a lot with that. And what I learned and what we talked about before with being more relaxed, because a lot of things where I held myself back is I was thinking, is that the right thing for the channel? And is that the right thing for, all very serious thoughts. But the channel is teeny. and now is the time to just go and experiment and get on this experiences. And no better time than when the channel is still small. And just don't overthink all the things.
Right. And I think chat, you guys let us know. Do you agree? Like, we would just watch Marcus do anything. Like,
great.
If it was perfect, if it was imperfect, if you were trying something, if you were doing something you've done before, like, it's fine, because we're here, we subscribe to Marcus's channel.
Yeah.
We're not subscribed to a channel that's internet commentary, and if it was that, then it could be that. But I think at this point, right, everybody who's subscribed is here for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back a bit here into the comments, because I had to ignore them. Where were we? Okay, Katie says, I find it difficult to make engaging videos from my bed. Okay, getting into action even so chronically ill. Speaking at the same time as stock video and chapter heading and bullet points. And okay, don't get the rest here. Okay, here comes the rest. Sometimes a small talking head in the corner. Okay.
Right. So the challenge is just because you're having to be in the bed more often. But I mean, could you just do the live stream from the bed on the phone without the whole production? Because this is live video and podcasting coach. So I guess there's also the aspect of what you talk about is making live videos and podcasting. But I'm sure there's things that you could talk about. And even if it's difficulty speaking is a thing, but and you're saying you have stock videos and chapter headings, but maybe you don't need to do all of that at this point, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it can just be you hold your phone while you're sitting in bed, chit chat, say the things, run it in CapCut, cut out the dead spaces, use the auto caption, it'll do most of the editing for you, and then just put that out. That could be an option. And I say these are all just options. I don't ever say this is the way to do it. It's just as long as you're making something that makes me happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, now we got more answers. Pierre already said yes, and Stan says, I'd show up for imperfect Marcus any day. Perfect, because there is no other. Lala, absolutely, I would live or record it. Yeah. And thank you, Amy. Yes, and you can get these graphics at livestreamingpros.com. And Stan says, my memory of you preparing for that video was that you got all the pieces together and then, how to put it together. Yeah, and that is what Marielou said, just make an outline. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then there was a question from 24-Hour Boss, some tutorials that I do or other suggestions that creators can do. My follow-up question for you is in what lane? Like, what is the goal? Because you're like suggestions of what creators can do. I'm like, to make videos, to show up more, to, there's a lot. There's a lot to that. There's like mindset, tech, tips, tutorials, like practical tutorials. There's a lot of different directions it could be. But come and hang out in the live stream, ask any question, and I'll tell you if we can cover it or not. It's like sometimes when people ask about making money as a content creator, I don't mind sharing that, but I also don't necessarily want that to be public. So that is something that once I get the membership going, that will be over there. And it's not because I'm trying to keep it behind a paywall. I just don't want that stuff out where just anybody can find it. Like, I want to know who's looking at that kind of stuff, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And if you would like to continue this conversation in about 35 minutes, so we're doing probably another 5 minutes, and then Marielou get 30 minutes rest period, and then she's going for another 2 hours. So just head over there.
Yeah, head over there. This like exactly what we talked about here with Marcus. Is that's the kind of stuff that we can talk about, and we also could cover all sorts of other things. Like last Tuesday, we did green screen tutorial. Sometimes we're testing out the new gear. Sometimes you hear me make weird voices.
We can do things like this.
I don't know. We just have a good time.
Yeah, and if you go and put a super chat in on Mariellou's channel, then she will do the monster voice. But no spoilers here. So you have to go there and put the super chat in. And Amy, yes, I'm using eCam. Yes, absolutely. Trivia murder party voice.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but I feel like I need to play this game.
Oh yeah, that could be fun, but maybe not vertical. Yeah, I did that once. Yes, absolutely. The LSP overlays are great, and I just customized it a little bit to my needs. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what did you forget to cover for today?
What did we not cover? I feel like we talked about everything. We talked about life as a creator. Vertical, I think, is something you guys should all try. But when anytime these new things come out, don't feel like you have to. Like if you were like, look at vertical and you're like, I hate this. Like I hate the text-based content, like threads, Twitter. Like it's just not for me. So I don't feel pressed to go do it. I have my accounts just so nobody else steals my name, but I don't do anything over there.
I would say you don't have to, but always remember that it is an opportunity when something is new. So if you think it could be something, then it's always a good time when it's starting up, because then you are leading the crowd. Yeah, absolutely.
And I will say that there's something that always sticks with me whenever I feel scared to try something or I feel a little bit stuck. And I think it's maybe like a David Bowie quote, I feel like is where it came from, but it's like the concept of like swim out into the water and go where you just can't reach the bottom. Just go out a little bit further where you just can't touch the floor. And then see that you're fine and go from there.
Yeah, fantastic. I think that is practically the best way to wrap this up. Yeah, just go and do things and try things, challenge yourself.
Create, release, repeat. You got it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, if some of you have the time and the energy or whatever to hang out more with Marielou, just come back after half an hour on her YouTube channel, Marielou Mandel. And her courses, you can find them in the description. And yeah, thank you so very much, Marielou, for spending the time here with us and for all the awesomeness.
I I am honored. I was so looking forward to this. I was so excited, and I took a screenshot of a question 24-hour boss said in the chat, and that's what we'll start with on my stream.
Perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he already said that he started following me and now you, and so we'll see you there.
Hope to see
Okay.
you there.
Thank you everyone so much. See you next week, same day, same time. Bye.